Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Rick and I'm guessing to most of you out there watching, I would be considered an old dude. And so today's video will be about how I discovered a hack to aging by simply playing video games. But before we get too far into the weeds, we need to go back to the beginning, and that would put us at 1970. That's right, I was actually born in the year of 1970. And so in a couple months, I'll actually be 55. So let me be clear, I don't claim to have never played video games before, but back in the 1970s, early 80s, most of us kids played outside, building forts, playing sports, riding our bikes without helmets, and drinking out of the garden hose because going inside was out of the question. In addition to, you ran the risk of being assigned chores and being stuck inside for the rest of the day. Now, with that being said, in 79, Atari released their gaming console, and while we didn't have one at home ourselves, I did play a few games like Space Invaders over at my friend's house. However, my playtime was extremely limited, and I never really got very good at those video games because I didn't own the console myself. However, around that time, arcades in shopping malls actually started to become very popular, so me and my friends would go down to the local shopping mall and we would spend hours playing video games. Now, keep in mind, you actually had to pay a quarter per play, so our playtime was limited on our budget, but I did invest a little in playing Donkey Kong, Galaga. Galaga was probably my favorite, but again, as I mentioned, playtime was limited because it did cost to play those games, and they weren't like at home where you could just jump on it anytime you wanted. So then we fast forward a little to around 1985. That is when Nintendo released their gaming console system. However, by then, I was a teenager. I had other interests than sitting around playing games. And as a teenager, I was still interested in sports. However, cars and girls had been added to the mix, and both of those interests required a part time job. And so, needless to say, I had my hands full and I was very busy, so I really had no time for video games. So, it wasn't until probably the mid 1990s that I gave video games another shot. That is actually when my roommate at the time set up Doom on the computer system within the house I was living and networked it throughout the house. So there were 4 or 5 PCs on the network. And so we started playing Doom with a couple friends on the network. But that was short lived, as at the time my focus really was on my career and not gaming. Now, a few years later, probably late 1990s, maybe 1999 or early 2000s, a friend introduced me to a new video game called Unreal Tournament, which we played against other players all over the world via the internet. Unfortunately, we were actually playing on a dial-up connection to the internet, so I lost interest as the other players could literally run circles around us on their cable connections. Also, I had just started my own company, which actually exploded and ended up requiring my full attention. And so, needless to say, I didn't get very far into gaming at that point in time either. Now, for the past 25 years, my business partner and I have built a few very successful businesses, which now allows me to do what I want when I want. And as I'm getting older, I have started to focus on my physical and mental health, which brings us to how I've decided to try hacking aging by playing video games after hearing about how Elon Musk actually defeated stress by playing video games. Thus, I decided to explore the effects of playing video games on one's mental and physical health, And it turns out that there have been brain imaging studies which have shown that playing video games for 3 or even more hours a day is associated with increased brain activity in regions linked to attention and memory. In fact, video games can enhance various cognitive functions, including improved reaction time and visual processing abilities. In addition to, it can help enhance mental flexibility and task switching capabilities. Also, it can be beneficial for better spatial memory and recognition abilities, increased attention capacity, and multitasking skills, not to mention decision making and cognitive planning abilities. Also, there are some physical benefits like hand-eye coordination when you're using a controller, and then there are actually therapeutic applications as well, including improvements in psychological and physical therapy outcomes. Also, gaming can be an effective pain distraction tool as well, as far as the therapeutical treatments go. And then, of course, there's the mental health benefits, as I mentioned before, with Elon Musk using it to relieve stress. Some people may use gaming to increase self-esteem. If they're doing well in a game, that might increase their self-esteem. And with some games where you can actually play as teams or with other people around the world, I guess there would be the possibility of improving your social skills. So let me be crystal clear. While moderate and purposeful gameplay can offer numerous health benefits across different age groups, it is extremely important to note that excessive gaming can have negative effects. And with that in mind, you need to get outside, breathe the fresh air, get some sunshine on your face. I don't plan on strictly gaming. I actually have another YouTube channel totally dedicated to going outdoors and going on what is called adventures into the unknown. And so if you're interested in those type of videos, I'll leave a link in the description down below. But for now, I do plan on trying to hack aging with playing some strategic based games like probably Diablo 4 and definitely Call of Duty, as these strategy-based games have been correlated with improved cognitive skills, including processing speed, memory, and task switching abilities. So, if you're interested in seeing how I attempt to hack aging by gaming, you might want to shoot that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. If you like this video, do me a favor, spike a like. If you have questions, comments, perhaps suggestions for other games I might want to try, please drop those comments in the comment section down below. And until next time, seek and enjoy.